Okay guys, welcome back once again. You're here with the Dragon of Dragon Works, and back on this 1980 Suzuki GS450 Cafe. This was a customer built project, and he got as far as he could, and then he reached out for help. So yeah, you had to back up and catch all the other videos. But basically he couldn't get it running, couldn't get anything working, and he tried a paint job on the tank that didn't work out, didn't have any mufflers on it, so I took care of all that stuff for him. So basically got it up and running and everything. Then I had to go back and get the wiring sorted back out and get the wiring routed the way it's supposed to. He had wiring coming out. He's got one of those Moto Gadget M unit modules that controls the bike, and I basically had the wires running from under the seat just out around, and you remember there was just a big mess of wires right there. So finally got all that tied up here, and got everything working the way it should. Before I started, I'll turn the switch on. The way I programmed this Moto Gadget unit, the module, is I programmed it so the headlight and the tail light doesn't come on until you start the bike or attempt to start it. That way it saves on power and it gives you a little more cranking power. But I'll go ahead and show you the blinkers, why it's off, and you'll see what I mean, because when the tail light comes on, it's hard to see the blinker right now in the light. So that left blinker, obviously the right blinker there. Let me hit the brake while I'm here. There's a brake light, kind of hard to reach. Okay, so then we'll fire it up, and then you'll see the headlight comes on. Low beam, high beam. Just the push of a button, and then we got the tail light. And sounds a little different with the mufflers on it, doesn't it? It's a peppy little sucker. It runs really good. It had great compression. It only had 8,000 original miles on it. He definitely got him a good bike to start with. The engine's in really good shape. But yeah, you kind of get the idea, right? So let me turn it off here. So the only thing I couldn't do for him, let me get the bars back up here. I couldn't get the neutral light and the oil light hooked up on this gauge because the way this bike is set up, in most bikes, it works off the off of a ground. So you know, when it's either used or not used, it's running a ground wire. And I didn't really explain that good, but you get the point. And the way this gauge works is they have all these lights grounded together, and then you run a positive up to them to activate the light. But on this particular unit, this bike works different. The sensors, the sending units, work off of a ground, so that doesn't work. So he will have to get a separate light if he wants the neutral and the oil light to work. He'll have to get separate lights for that, because like I say, this particular cluster he has, they're all grounded together, so that wouldn't work. It would be on all the time, or off, whichever way you got it. So anyway, couldn't do much there for him, and that's going to be about it, guys. If you remember, it had a real big gap under this seat because he welded that loop on that pointed up in the air, and his seat was basically flat. So it came with some brackets. I got a bracket here that goes up under the tank, and then these other brackets that were here kind of facing down. So what I did was I made up a pin that you can see right here, and the pin goes all the way through the frame, through those brackets. So I was able to push this seat way down real hard and put that pin in there, and that took care of that big gap he had in there. And he had made these little trays himself to hide all the electronics and the battery and all that. So I ended up painting that up, and there was a bunch of spots on the frame that he had ground off that we had to paint up there and what have you. And he had cut the bracket off for his brake light, so I got a little clamp on there right now with some tape on it for him until he comes up with an idea he wants to do different there. Yeah, some of the paint is still a little hazy. It still needs to be buffed out, but this is only a week old, and it takes, you know, sometimes months before you can really buff that enamel paint. So I got it about as shiny as I could. The more you mess with it, the worse it gets, so you gotta kind of leave it alone there, but he'll have to buff it out in a couple weeks or whatnot. But yeah, just thought you guys might want to see it. This may be the last video of it. I don't know. I'm going to be delivering it back to him in the next day or so. So I don't think I'll get any more video unless I get a video of him riding it when I deliver it or something like that. But you guys get the idea, right? So yeah, if you guys need something done, hit me up. This thing's come a long ways. You might have to back up to the beginning to see where it came from, but and it's still got a little ways to go. He's still got some things to do to it, but not bad for a backyard build. I just tuned it up for him a little, that's all. Okay guys, I appreciate you watching again. Sorry about the mess in here. A lot of work going on, and it's just the way it is. So thanks for watching, stay tuned, and peace out. Before I say peace out, I don't know if I mentioned, I probably already did, but he has the Suzuki emblems that go on the tank. And I might have already did this, I don't know. They look like this, but they're gold. So they'll match everything when he gets them back on. So, okay, that's it. This time's for real. Peace out.